Well, hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome to the Accidental Swingers podcast. What are we on episode?
We're on episode 42.
42.
And look at us. It's only been a couple of weeks since episode 41. How amazing is that?
Like, look at us. What? We've been sitting here for like 30 minutes trying to get this recording up and going. I've been looking at myself in the camera for that time. Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yay.
That's pretty impressive for us.
Well, this is what we're striving for, is to get our stuff out more, in a timely manner.
And that is true. And so one of our resolutions for 2023 is to record more consistently.
Yes.
And predictably.
Right.
Yes. And
because we're going to try and add another project on top of it. So we have to get our crap organized to do all this in a timely fashion.
And we will.
Yes, we will.
Yes. This is living proof right here.
Here we are.
Here we are, like a scant 3 weeks after our last release.
I know. Not even.
Yeah.
No, is it even?
February 9th, I think, was when episode 41 was released. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. And this should come out in a few days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're in good shape.
Yeah,
so here we are. Here we are. So you don't get bored with us, but here we are. Yeah. But we have a lot of fun things to talk about today.
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
We had talked about the fact that in the last episode, we did not get a chance to talk about our Vegas trip.
We did not.
So let's do a quick recap on that.
Okay.
All four of us went.
Yes.
But Crimson and Phoenix aren't here with us tonight to kind of give their 2 cents. So we will translate for you.
Okay.
Or put words in their mouths.
We'll just tell our story.
We'll tell ours. Yeah. They were there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
It pretty much dovetails.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So actually it was December. Mm-hmm. We did talk about this in episode 40, that we were just about to get on the road and go to Vegas.
Right.
So we, Brian and Brenna, our friends, the Front Porch Swingers, invited us to come out and hang out with them in Vegas for, a week and just kind of see what they were up to out there. And while we were there, we went to the Real Housewives of Las Vegas party at Playhouse LV.
Yes, that was sponsored by the Front Porch Swingers. That's right. Well, that was a kind of a bonus about like, hey, if you come out and visit us, you can go to this hot wife party. I'm like, oh,
hell yeah.
Sign me up. Man, we can't do any business over the phone. I need to be out there in person. Right. And oh, gee, you're having a hot wife event? I guess I'll go. Invited myself, I'm sure.
Probably. You're not bashful.
No, probably not. I wanted to go. Yeah. So we did. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a great time.
So yeah, we went, we ended up going for a week. We weren't originally going to go for an entire week, but I've never been out there. Yeah. I think Phoenix and Crimson had been out there or in passing, or like Crimson had been when she was a kid or something. And I can't remember Phoenix when he was out there, but yeah, so we decided to roll all of that into, go into our Instagram and see some of the photos, because we did the Grand Canyon tour and the Hoover Dam, and we drank a lot and ate a lot and gambled once.
I spent $5. It's not my thing.
No.
I'll buy lotto tickets all day long. Yeah, for some reason, I draw the line at.
I know you put the $5 in and you were like standing there looking at the machine. I'm like, you just do this. And I pressed the button. I'm like, oh shit, I just used his $5.
Yeah, I'm like, well, shit, where is it? Come on, make it rain.
I didn't win.
Yeah. No, that was it. I gave up.
But we were going to play blackjack. We will try the dollar. I think it's dollar blackjack or something the next time we go back, because we will be going back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be telling you about that too, but really fast. So we went to the event out in Vegas with Brian and Brenna, the Real Housewives of Las Vegas. But that was on a Thursday night. Mm-hmm. And what a fun event that was.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was so unique. So it was dubbed as it's their hot wives of wherever they are. So we're actually attending the next one, which is in Phoenix in April. No relation to Phoenix, my boyfriend, but Phoenix, Arizona. And so, but Phoenix will be there because we're all going. So this was a house, I'm going to say housewives because that's the show. Hot Wives event was really, Brian and Brenna do these as, there are single men there. There are couples and single men. Maybe a few single women. Were there any single women at all?
not sure if there was at that one, but I think that there are some coming to the hotel takeover in Phoenix.
Yeah, but So, but it is really geared towards the hot wife kind of dynamic. And so it was really cool. We went, and for the first couple hours, it was only meet and greet. And so you didn't really, there wasn't any pressure. As a matter of fact, the playrooms weren't even open until I think it was 10 p.m. And so, we had a couple hours just to sit and talk to everybody. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so it was a little bit challenging because there were a lot of single guys there, and they were told, because it is a hot wife event, that the women have to initiate play. And so it was really kind of challenging to have the shoe on the other foot. Like Crimson and I talked about it. And it's like, dang, man, we're going to need to up our game for Phoenix, because we had gotten very used to not having to be the, I don't want to say aggressor, because that's not initiate. Thank you. Yes, we had gotten very used to not.
Sometimes you're the aggressor.
Yeah, sometimes I'm an initiator, but this was under pressure, man. Right. This was like I had no choice. If I wanted to fuck somebody, I had to be the initiator. So it was different. It was really different. So it was weird to kind of have that shoe on the other foot. Yeah, the gentleman that I met made that very easy for me. So yeah. My experience with him ended up not being as fruitful as I would have hoped, but that's okay. These things happen. And we actually, it was really interesting, because there was actually a couple of gentlemen that I talked to that were interested in trying to connect with that evening, and just neither one really kind of panned out the way that it could have. Crimson, her event, or her interaction, I would say, apparently did pan out. But and then the four of us ended up spending some quality time together there at Playhouse LV in their amazing setup. Their setup is great.
It's really really nice.
It is so nice. It is so not what you expect when you walk in there, because it's in an industrial area, which a lot of times, like, well, kink and BDSM dungeons
9 times out of 10, they're going to be an industrial area.
Very industrial. So this was kind of different. And as a swing club being in this area, but it was, Dave and Nicole have done an amazing job with everything with Playhouse LV. And then they also own Flirts LV, which we'll talk about because we went 2 nights later there. But a little bit different, but still, they've done an amazing job with setting up just wonderful spaces, wonderful places, a great atmosphere, really great people. Like the people that were there were really fantastic. And so it was really cool to meet everybody and talk with everybody and just be able to have ourselves a good time trying to navigate these waters as a hot wife at a hot wife event
where you have to be the initiator.
I know.
So I, rather than saying you have to be the initiator, I like the way that Brenna phrased it, which is, this is a female-centered event. And so now that what that winds up being is you're the initiator, but I'm trying to put a more positive spin on it, because I think that you were a little intimidated. I mean, both of you and Crimson at times were a little intimidated, but I think thinking of it as, this is all about us women. Well, you women.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say either one of us were necessarily intimidated. I think that what I would say was that the guys were a little less, they were worried, because when they put on this event, they said, like, if the guy oversteps his bounds, especially if it's a single guy that's been brought in to help with the hot wives, they've been told, like, if you won't be asked back. And so I think that they were definitely on their best behavior. And so they sat there like little schoolboys. Not necessarily, not all of them, but it had a little bit of that kind of a feel to it. So Crimson and I talked about it, and like, next time we'll be a little bit more prepared. We'll be a little bit more assertive and just a little bit more conversational. I think it was a little bit challenging just because now the next one we go to, though, is a takeover.
Yeah.
Is like a 3-day event.
Yeah.
Right. 3 days.
It's 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we get to go to clubs and stuff while we're there too. So that's going to be really fun. But that will be I think a little bit different.
Yeah.
we'll see. That's the Hot Wives of Phoenix, and that's in April.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to join us at the Hot Wives of Phoenix, join us. You can go to our website and look at our calendar or our affiliate links somewhere in there on the contact page. There's the affiliate links to go ahead and sign up for that. Or you can also just go to the Front Porch Swingers website and click on their events. And the sign up for that is there as well. That event will sell out. It is very small. It's a boutique hotel that we're doing in Phoenix. I believe I was talking to Brian today on the phone. I think it's like 60 something rooms, or that may be the one in Vegas, because I could be getting the two of them confused, because we're going to a different event in Vegas we're going to Pod Bash.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in September. Yeah. And we were talking about both those events, but yeah, so that both of those events I think will sell out, because they're on the smaller side, because they're complete takeovers, but they're little boutique hotels. So I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So I know I probably jumped ahead a little bit, but that's what I do.
I was gonna say, so what's new here?
You should be used to it by now. What else did we do in Vegas while we were there, honey?
We went to Whispers on that Friday night, which is another club in Vegas that we had heard good things about. And I think we had a great time. I did. And I think we had difficulty kind of breaking into their culture, because partly I think because it was karaoke night and they were all really focused on karaoke. Apparently that's a huge thing at that venue. And
we weren't.
Yeah, we were not. No, we were not into karaoke whatsoever.
No.
And so we had difficulty kind of breaking into their group, although they did have a little dungeon area. And so we went there and we had a great time with a group of probably 15 people with electric play, which, we had done before, but not, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different apparatus than the, this was not the Violet one that we played with before. And we'd never done it where you have like this chain of people, like transmitting electricity to one another. And so that was really cool. And I got up there and got electrified, and Crimson was playing with my nipples while I was electrified, and that was fun. And I liked that. And so that was a lot of fun. And they had some other little dungeon apparatus back there, and that was neat. But and then just the four of us wound up in a room, and
that's what we end up doing.
Kind of what I want. Yeah, it's kind of what we always wind up doing.
If all else fails, the four of us
wind up in a room.
Yeah. We do pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
Yeah, that was a good session.
That was a good session. Yeah. So that particular it's in a house. It's a house in a residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's in a fucking like residential neighborhood. Like we were driving up and I'm like,
you have the right address to the Uber driver?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know that we're in the right place. Like, holy shit, what did we do? And you're in a residential neighborhood, but apparently there's not a lot of zoning out there. And so
from what I can see, there's no zoning.
Yeah, because the third place we went to was also in a residential neighborhood. But it was a little bizarre. So, but the way they had it set up, like each bedroom, and then they had converted the garage was kind of the dungeon area / that's where the electric play was, and they'd made the whole house was all playrooms. No one lived there.
Yeah,
nobody lived there. And it was very, very, very cold, and so we didn't go outside, but they have apparently a nice really big backyard area, and I think they even had heaters out there, but it was so cold we didn't go. But we ended up and they even had like an indoor pool, which we also did not use because it was a little bit over chlorinated.
Yeah, like a jacuzzi.
Was that what a pool? Yeah. I mean, I never really even looked at it. It was the chlorine.
I like it. Yeah, I like it with chlorine.
It was pretty rough. So like a jacuzzi area, but it was enclosed, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we ended up though in the Alice in Wonderland room, where they called it the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think the rabbit hole.
Yeah, so we always call ourselves Rabbit Hole. Well, we call ourselves Rabbit Hole Media because we were always running down rabbit holes. So when we walked into the place and we saw that one of the rooms was the rabbit hole, we were like, we are all fucking in there for sure. And so we did.
Yes, we did.
We picked the biggest bed in the rabbit hole area in the Alice in Wonderland space and went down there and played. And it was really fun. Mm-hmm. We had another couple come in, I think on the bed.
A few other couples came in and went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were busy. So
yeah, we tend to take our time also. Yeah. Yeah.
We tend to.
We enjoy ourselves.
Very much.
Yes, it's not a fast process. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And I'm going to hold my question until the very end. So then the next night, so that was Friday night. So we had Thursday night was at Playhouse LV. Friday night was at Whispers. And then Saturday night we went to Flirts LV. Yeah. Which is also owned by Dave and Nicole, who own Playhouse LV. This one is their newer facility, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And it is also in a residential neighborhood, so much so on that Uber trip. We start to pull up to the house and I'm like, oh shit, we gave him the address from last night because it looked the neighborhood looked exactly the same. It may even be the same neighborhood. I don't know because I don't know anything about Vegas. I don't know where we were.
And it was dark.
It was dark, yeah. But I'm like, oh shit, we fucked up. We're in the wrong place. And then he turned a corner and I'm like, oh, that is a different house. But I really did think that we were in the same spot.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But that house, so it is a house, but it was used as a venue before. And so you go in and it's got a kitchen and a big kitchen. It's a really pretty house, really big. And I think there's a pool outside too. But again, it was cold. We didn't go outside, but I think there was a pool in the backyard and stuff. But great playrooms. They did such the same thing. Amazing job. The playroom area spaces are so well done. They're so tasteful. They're so comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, really great furnishing, which is unusual at a lot of sex clubs. And so like really high quality materials and high quality equipment and high quality furnishings, and everything was just first class.
It really was. And then that venue, you go back, so you kind of pass the playroom areas to the main area of the house, which is the dance floor, and there's a DJ in there. And this, it's 2 floors.
Yeah, it's like open, a vaulted ceiling.
But it's 2 floors because on the there's a loft. Yeah, there's a loft with 2 sides, and that's a place. Those are play spaces, and that was really cool. Mm. And then the dance floor, and then there are sofas around the dance area, and the bar. It's a bottle club, and so it's a really, again, set up well space. We didn't get much of a chance. So same type of thing though. The playroom spaces in Flirts LV though didn't open that night until 11 o'clock. So the doors opened at 8 or 9. And you had a couple hours of mandatory kind of meet and greet because the play spaces weren't open. When the play space is open, they lock the door. So if you're not there when the play space is open at both places, you're not getting in. So you have to be there beforehand, which is, I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. You can leave anytime you want. It's like Hotel California. And they will let you leave, but you just can't come back. But anyways, so I like that piece of it, kind of a little bit more of a controlled atmosphere. But you don't, so the playrooms didn't open until a little bit later. It was challenging though, because in that particular space, the music was very loud and we had trouble talking to folks, but that's kind of where everybody was.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it till later. Like we could have walked out into the other, like a couple couples came up to us and said they knew who we were and recognized us, and we tried to stand there and talk to them and have conversation. It was really challenging, but I don't know why we didn't go in the other room because everybody was in the party room, I guess. But yeah, so that was really fun too. But we didn't know anybody, and we didn't really tell anybody we were going. And I mean, this other couples recognized us. I think if we'd mentioned it maybe once before on the podcast or something, but we didn't really advertise it very much. So we weren't really planning on trying necessarily to meet people or do anything. And so again, we ended up having a really great night that night too. There's because our play spaces are so great. It was really fun, really open, like that space in that place, in that area where we decided to play on that night was like 4 kind of open beds, but then they had curtains and then there were a couple more beds. So it's kind of a group space, but not necessarily. Like there's a little bit of privacy.
Yeah. Like sheer curtains dividing. And so, you can draw back or you can have them closed so that, you can hear everything and kind of see silhouettes of other people, which is nice and sensual and sexy. And then the lighting's low and so it's a really nice environment, really nice atmosphere.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So so my question was going to be, on all those 3 venues, would you recommend people to go to those venues?
I would recommend all 3.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, and they're different, but you just got to try places and find what fits with you. And that's what we tell everybody about everything. I mean, And that might change on a particular night based upon the crowd, based upon, whatever your mood is and whatever you're feeling. But you can't go wrong, trying more sex clubs. That's kind of my rule of thumb. You should just try them all.
You can try. You don't even have to have sex in them. We sometimes go and turn around and leave.
That has happened.
That's happened. I was going to say also, just a heads up, if you decide to go and visit these places, Playhouse LV, though, is a membership only. Mm-hmm. We were with the Front Porch Swingers, so we were with that particular event, but you have to be a member to go to that particular venue, and it takes a couple of weeks to get vetted. So it is an actual private membership. I don't think it's super expensive. I don't know though.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't quite remember.
All the information's on their website.
Yeah, I would say check out their website, Playhouse LV and Flirts LV, and get on their mailing list about all their different events that they have going on as well, because they are also sponsoring or co-sponsoring Pod Bash. And so we will be actually, if you want to go to Pod Bash with us, which again is going to be a smaller event, it will sell out. It's a hotel takeover this time, like secrets, but there will be some day passes available, but most folks will be staying on property. But we will be going to, I believe we're going to both Playhouse, LV, so. Flirts, and I think we're going to another one. I think there's another club that we have, that Brian and Brenna have set up for us all to go to, that are the Pod Bash group. Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. So it's not just hanging out necessarily at the hotel. We get to go to some clubs and things like that too.
Yeah, I knew about Playhouse and Flirts. I didn't know about the third.
There's a third. I think there's something else. When we were chatting today, he mentioned something in passing, and I didn't ask, but we can find out.
Well, whatever they're going to do is going to be first class.
Yeah, and I was dubious about going to Vegas. I did not.
Oh, I was too. I've never had any interest at all about going to Vegas, like my entire life. But shit, how much fun did we have? It was awesome.
We had amazing.
We loved it.
We spent 1 minute on the Strip, 2 minutes on the way out on the Grand Canyon tour, and a minute on the way back.
And only because the bus had to pick some people up there.
We didn't even go to the Strip.
Yeah.
We drove through it and thought, okay, don't know that we need to come here. Not gambling and not very much into the shows.
Yeah, not into the shows or.
I would go back and go to some of the shows if that was something that I was interested in doing. I would go back and go to a hockey game.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested in going to the Golden Knights game or a Raiders game than I would to a casino. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But I think that it was really, really cool. And the thing that we found, we stayed downtown instead of on the Strip, and it was great. And we really found the hidden gem that Brenna, and actually most people that we talked to when we said, tell us about the secret places in Vegas to go to, the Arts District, District 1, hands down. It's called 18B. It's 18 blocks. And we were going to start at one end and work our way to the other end. And we got there at noon, and that's where our plan was. But we had to make it back by 6 or 7 to get ready to go for the evening. So we started at noon. We had about 5 hours. We made it 800 feet.
Yeah, according to Google Maps, we made it like 863 feet down the
main street.
Yeah, we started at one brewery, and we made
it to 3 because the breweries were right next door to each other. So we made it to 3 breweries, and I think we ate at a pizza place, which was also a brewery. And then, and then we found our new favorite bar, the Velveteen Rabbit. If you're ever in Vegas and you're in the Arts District, oh my God. And I wanted to sleep there. I asked them if I could sleep on their sofa and bring in a sleeping bag. And if maybe they wouldn't notice me. I actually even said, like, if I hide behind, because that was the last stop, by the way. So there may have been beer and food involved with that comment, but it's an amazing.
Well, and amazing craft cocktails at the Velveteen Rabbit.
I so rarely ever buy t-shirts from any place that we go. Like, you have to really impress me to buy a t-shirt, because I have 85,000 bajillion effing t-shirts from every event that I ever do. So the last thing I want is a t-shirt. And I was there 30 seconds. And like, what do your t-shirts look like? I will buy one, and I have one. So there you go. But it was great. It was a lot of fun. And I was so pleasantly surprised, and I'm very much looking forward to going back in September. We're going to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because we've got 2 events back to back. We'll be doing Pod Bash with the Front Porch Swingers. Then we'll be doing Naughty Sin City with Naughty Events. So we will be there for 2 weekends, and we're just going to stay the whole time and live there for a couple of weeks. I'm so excited.
And try to work there during the
and work.
I'm not sure how that's going to go.
Well, it didn't go horribly. We worked while we were there.
I did.
We were there for, I had, you and I both had to work. Yeah. So it wasn't horrible. Anyways, it was a great time. So what else have we been doing?
We've been busy. And so today is Tuesday, February 28th. This past weekend, we were in Pennsylvania at a hotel takeover that was organized by the Upside Down Pineapple Nation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in Stroudsburg, and that was a lot of fun. We'd never been to Pennsylvania before.
Nope.
I think I mentioned in the last episode, other than driving through a little sliver of it on the way to New York. But so we were in the mountains, and we're not used to that. There are several things that we weren't used to here. We're not used to anything that's any incline whatsoever, and this was both hilly and mountainous. And at least by our standards.
Well,
and cold.
I grew up in Virginia, so I am familiar.
Yeah, but on the coast.
Yeah, but don't give it all away. I used to drive in the mountains.
All right, you have some mountains in your home state. I have none in mine. I think the highest point, so like Cutler Ridge in Miami is 14 feet above sea level, and I think that's pretty much the highest I've experienced in my home state.
What about in Gainesville? Is it the?
The 34th Street Hill. Yeah. But I take it back. There is one big hill in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress as usual.
Yeah. So it was. So Pennsylvania. It was really pretty.
Yeah, it was.
So I'll be 1,000,000% honest. The only thing I ever knew, we were flying into Allentown. So let's be honest. What do you think when you hear the word Allentown? You all know you're singing it in your head, because that's all I sang in my head. The
entire weekend.
Oh my God, it was terrible. But I will tell you, Allentown looks nothing like the Billy Joel song.
It's really pretty and quaint and old, cool buildings.
We flew into Allentown and then went to Stroudsburg, but we spent Sunday in Allentown and we hit 3 different breweries because, we had time to kill. So, but interesting, our most favorite brewery was the one right next to the Camelback Mountain Resort, Barley Creek Brewing Company. If you ever go there, holy shit, people, that we didn't have a beer we didn't like. And that's pretty rare for us.
That's very rare for us.
Phoenix and Crimson used to brew, so they're very picky. And it was amazing. So, but anyways, we had a great time. The Upside Down Pineapple Palooza started on Friday, and we got there on Thursday just to have kind of a down day. We met amazing people. This was such a great group of folks. They all are so used to doing this together, or in some permutation of we looked around and this is not the first time that they've done this together. And I think they've used this particular hotel before, but it was closed for a while, and it is under deep renovation right now. Deep renovation. Deep. And so that was the only thing that was a little bit odd, because I'm surprised it was under such deep renovation that we were able to hold the event, but everybody kind of knew. So it's an indoor, it's north, so it's indoor. Never experienced any of that before, but the whole pool and tiki bar and all the inward facing towards the pool and the tiki bar rooms, it's a 2-story building, all have balconies that all look out onto this tiki bar and pool, but it's all enclosed. Because it's fucking Pennsylvania. So, and it snowed on Saturday.
It did.
It has skylights. And I'm like, oh, damn, if I could only get a picture with the snow on the skylights in the pool, that'd be really close. The snow melted before I could get the picture. But it did snow. I did take a picture. We did
go out in the parking lot and act like dorks and oh, look, there's snow.
We did.
Yeah.
Crimson threw a little handful. She's like, snowball fight. And it was this much snow. We're like, yay. Fight. But it was really, really different. But these folks, they have it nailed down. They have their shit together, man. They had the people that were on the outside, that are on the bottom floor, they had all their tables out and they had all their stuff. And one room, they were so fabulous. They brought a coffee bar and they set up a Keurig with just tons of different K-cups and creamers and alcohol. And like, it was, you could put Bailey's cream in your coffee. It was so much better than hotel coffee. It was so good and it was so sweet. And I meant to give them like $20 and I totally forgot because they saved us. So whoever you guys are, I owe you $20 because I was going to put it in the non-existent tip jar. They didn't even have a tip jar out. I looked.
Right.
And and then folks had snacks. And then of course there were some vendors and things like that, but everybody was just so welcome and opening. And then all the second floor people had lights and stuff all over. And it was a Mardi Gras theme. So everybody had Mardi Gras stuff all over everywhere. And they had lights and music. And it was a very well organized event in the sense that everybody knew what they were doing and what they wanted to get out of that event. And it was really cool. And I have so much excitement and fondness for the fact that these folks up there all have a chance to get together. And we were naked. You could be naked. Mm-hmm. It was 100% clothing optional in the interior of the place in this little Inns and Suites place in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And the only time you had to put your clothes on if you're going to go into the lobby. But there was lots of people just being their awesome, authentic selves. And that's what we love so much. And it was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was. And we met
probably, I'm going to think 8 to 10 different different listener couples that we knew. There were a few of them that we knew were going to be there that we had talked to in advance, but we had people just come up to us and say, hey, we love your podcast and we're so happy that you're here. We had several couples say we're here because we heard in episode 41 that you're going to be here.
We were surprised.
Yeah, we were very surprised
and humbled
and very humbled. We're always humbled
and so grateful.
Yeah. Very much so.
And one couple, so sweet. They went and stopped at the local Poconos clothing optional resort, Sunny Rest. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it is because I don't know anything about Pennsylvania, but it's in Pennsylvania. So all you guys up there, you know what Sunny Rest is. I'm sure you know where it is. So they went and bought us like a whole bunch of
on their way
package.
Right, on their way down. Yeah.
Their way. Yeah. They bought us like a towel and a couple t-shirts and a cup. So if you guys ever come to Caliente and see because I'm taking it over, my towel, which is very tie-dye, very cool, or me in my Sunny Rest t-shirt, or me drinking out of my Sunny Rest cup, you'll know that those were from our amazing friends that brought that to us. So thank you guys. You know who you are. So
very
thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Yes. And we actually met them for the first time at Caliente when they were visiting this year. Yeah. And so we got to meet them and then got to see them again when we went up there. And I honestly have to say that was so touching to me. That means more to me than so many things because they went out of their way to do that. So it was awesome. But we did meet so many amazing people, and it was mind-blowing to hear the stories and all of you that came up to us and chatted with us over there and told us your stories. And we're grateful for what we do. We're so grateful that you came to us and talked to us about how our little stories and shenanigans and obstacles and pitfalls have helped you guys navigate what you're going through. And so that was, I would say that is to date, the most interaction we've had with couples on a personal level like that. We had lots of people coming up to us at Naughty, but this is the first time we actually got to say, well, hey, let's go sit over here and chit chat with us. Or do you want to
just sit and talk?
We'll just sit and have, you want to sit with us for a little while? And they were like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, we're like, yeah, we're here, let's chat, And so we even had an impromptu little meet and greet. And then some folks came to us later and said, sorry, we couldn't make it to your meet and greet. We were indisposed, but we knew you would understand. And I said, yeah, we do understand. And we forgive you. And you know who you are too, because I know you're listening. So we know. And it was totally okay. We love that. And so thank you for not coming. Thank you for taking care of yourselves and doing what you wanted to do. Because you could chat with us anytime, man. Just send me a message. I don't care. But yeah, that was really, really awesome. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
It really was.
Yeah, I'm still recovering from.
Yeah, that was yesterday. We got home last night or yesterday morning.
We got home. So we got home yesterday morning at 9:00 in the morning when our plane landed. Yeah, it wasn't a productive day yesterday.
It was not. We have to learn how to travel better.
Yes.
Speaking of which, what else do we have going on really fast?
Really fast. So in episode 41, I talked about how, in preparation, talking about the Pennsylvania takeover, I talked about how we rarely have hotel takeovers in our part of the world. Well, just a couple of days after we recorded that, I learned that there is going to be a full hotel takeover here in Tampa, Cinco de Mayo weekend, and we are so excited. This is being put on by Tampa Erotic, and so whom we have not met yet.
Nope.
And so I think this weekend they're going to be at Paradise Lakes, and so we're hoping to meet them this weekend. If not, then some other weekend. But so we don't know them yet, but we're excited as hell that they're putting on this event, and so it will be I think it would Friday, Saturday, Sunday takeover.
Friday afternoon?
Yeah, I think Friday afternoon, I think.
Very cool.
Go to tampaerotic.com and also if you're on SDC, you can look up the event there. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend, 4th, 5th, 6th of May. And all the details are there, and all the hotel details and how to get tickets and so forth. So we're super excited about that. If
you go to our website and click on our calendar, that date is also in there with a link to their website, because it's spelled Tampa Erotic.
Yes.
Like erotic, but the A is the E. And so it's Tampa Erotic, one word. And so it's there. It's also in our newsletter. If you got our newsletter, or if you get our newsletter, it may not have been the last one, but it'll be in the upcoming ones. So we always put links to where we're going and things like that. So if you don't have our newsletter, go to our website and sign up, because all that stuff will be there. But yeah, we're really super excited about that. Yes.
Yeah. So that's 2 months away.
Mm-hmm. And then, then we're going to Houston, and in June. I don't remember what's in June. I have a lot of work stuff in June. And then in July is the big event.
Yes.
Naughty New Orleans. So we're getting geared up right now for Naughty New Orleans. We will be, if you want to go to Naughty New Orleans, this is the event we love, and it's our premier event that it's been close and near and dear to our hearts because it was our very first event. And I'm also helping them out this year with their education. So that'll be super fun. But we start our chat group, our Naughty Discord chat group, of about 6 to 7 weeks before the event. We're getting ready to start to remind people and tell people and promote that. If we start it too early, it gets a little watered down. It's fun to have it be a little bit more close to the event, but actually, someone even reached out to you today in our SDC group and said, "Hey, can we get in?" We're like, "Absolutely," and we will contact you as soon as that opens up. So, if you're interested in doing that, if you're going to Naughty New Orleans and you're one of our listeners, we do this chat group. You're invited to our meet and greet that we will do at one of the bar takeovers. And if you're part of our private community, you actually will also get. And if you sign up to go to Naughty through our affiliate link or are part of our private community, you will be invited to our VIP party that we will have this year. We don't know where it is yet. Last year it was actually there at the hotel. It was really, really fun. We had an open bar and some nice treats for everybody and some goodies and some gifts, and everybody got to chit chat. And it was a great time. So that's coming up as well. There's so much stuff.
2023 is already shaping up to be an incredibly busy year for us, and there are lots of things that are still going to fill in. So we're thrilled. Yeah,
we have something in the works for March. We're hoping that comes through. We'll tell you all about it if that happens. But yeah, so it's super, super, super fun and exciting for everything that's going on. But yeah. So do you want to talk about anything else, or is that it? Should we go?
I think that's about it for catching up with us.
Oh, catching up. Yeah.
That's just catching up.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm like. Is that it for tonight? Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Well,
can I turn away?
I think we're here to tell some stories.
I think we're here to tell some stories. Yeah.
So, and actually, this is just going to be us telling stories, because this is a period where we were really spotty about recording on our way back from things or to things.
Why do you think that was?
Because we were busy.
We were busy.
There was a lot. Yeah, we were busy fucking. There was a lot going on, and
This is when we went from like, this is when we went from like being home 5 nights a week and going out 2 nights a week to being home never.
Right.
And going out 7 nights a week.
Yes. Yeah. There was something going on pretty much.
We tried to stay home. Seriously, we really did. We tried to stay home one night so that our youngest, because our oldest had gone off to college, so that our youngest, he was 15. Yeah, it wasn't like he was like 3.
It wasn't hardship for a teenager to be
yeah. Oh, gee, mom and dad, go out. So that all I have to do is play video games, bitch at me about not doing my homework, cleaning the kitchen. Yeah, it was a real tough one. But so we stayed home one night to make his life living hell.
Yes.
And now they love us, so it worked really well.
It worked perfectly.
But yeah, so we didn't record a lot, but that is legit true. We were so busy and very, very tired. But we do have stories to tell because Tristan takes notes.
I took very copious and very detailed notes. Mm-hmm. It's kind of how I'm wired. In case you haven't figured that out 42 episodes in.
I was going to say after 41 episodes, I think they know.
Yeah, they figured out I'm the nerd.
We figured it out after like 7 episodes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty evident pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The nerd I am.
So what are we going to be talking about in this one?
In this one, so there was a...
Where are we in our journey at this point?
So we were kind of drifting a little more hot wifey. And that continued for a while.
Right.
There was a potential 5-way that sprang up here that we're going to talk a little bit about.
Yeah.
But so there are 3 stories that we're going to talk about tonight, and 2 of them are single guys, and then one potential 5-way that then wound up being a 3-way for various reasons. So I guess you want to start with the first single guy?
We can, yes. So there was this particular gentleman, we're going to call him Harvey. And he had reached out to me on SLS and probably to both of us, our account on SLS. And he and I started chatting and really enjoyed chatting with him. And he was coming to the area. Oh, that's what it was. He was coming to our area, to Clearwater. And he had family or something that lived here. And so he had changed his zip code, as is very smart to do. And we connected and we started chatting. So we chatted for probably texted back and forth, messaged back and forth for maybe a month or 6 weeks. And really enjoyed him, really got to know him, smart guy. Yeah, just really, really liked him. So he was coming into town and he flew in and I said, hey, well, I don't mind picking you up at the airport. And he had a car that was at the place where he was staying. He just needed a ride from the airport to the place. And I said, well, we'll pick you up. Tristan and I will pick you up, get to know you, get to meet you. He and I had, Harvey and I had talked about having a play date and what that looked like. And I wanted him to meet Tristan and I wanted Tristan to meet him. This was this was early enough on that I still wanted a little bit of backup. Like I wasn't just going to meet him and play. And so I really wanted a little bit more experience meeting folks and making those decisions, even though all of the stuff from Virginia had happened, but that was totally different. That was a different vibe and a different aspect. And those folks I did all meet beforehand. So it was kind of my MO at that point in time. Still is, actually. And so we picked him up and we went out to dinner to a brewery for so shocking. It happens to be very close to the airport.
Yes.
So we went.
And they do have food there.
They do. Yes. We had dinner and beers. It just happened to be a brewery. But you got to chat with him and super nice guy.
Yeah, very nice, very smart, very substantive.
Yep. All that stuff that we look for.
Yeah.
And so we weren't planning on playing that night. We knew that we weren't, and we went and we dropped him off and that was it. So he was only going to be in town for a couple of days. And the opportunity arose where he and I could connect. Well, it happened to be a week during the weekday. And before he headed back, and it turned out that we were going to there was some time where we could connect. So we decided to go ahead and connect. And I was going to go over there. I went over there for an afternoon delight.
I'm listening.
So I go over and we start kissing, and things start to get hot and heavy, and we're getting excited, and clothes are coming off, and we are pleasuring each other. He went down on me, I went down on him. He's nice and hard. We're getting ready to have sex, and he takes out the condom, puts the condom on, and really struggles, and really, really struggled. And it just didn't go well, which is not uncommon. So what are you going to do? It happens. Life happens. So I just decided to go ahead and just go down on him and give him a nice blowjob. And I finished him off that way. And so because I did not think that getting him hard by giving him a blowjob and then having sex with him was going to work. If I got him hard and we tried to do the condom again, I knew nothing was going to happen. It was just going to be an epic fail. So he got the benefit of me being extra supportive. and that's what we did. And it wasn't my favorite thing, obviously. I think that's not what you anticipate or expect. So it was a little awkward, and I think he felt badly about it because it ended up being all about him. And most men that are in the lifestyle tend to be very wanting to please the woman, especially if they're a single guy in the lifestyle. And obviously he was. And so it was kind of challenging, and it was kind of different. And then he had to leave the next morning, like really, really early in the morning. So we didn't even really have a chance to kind of regroup or do anything. So I gotta say, when he left, it wasn't the greatest experience. Like, I wasn't feeling like, woo, it was kind of feeling gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I remember you telling me all of this, and I mean, we had a good time, but we
had
a good time when
I came home and told you all about it.
But yeah,
you're like, show me what you did. Okay. Pretend like you can't get hard. Pretend like I put this. Well, he did get hard. That's not fair. He did get hard. It's just he got soft. Once you put the condom on, you start to try and fuck. When you're not used to that, it happens. Yeah. I get it.
It's difficult. I mean, even when you're experienced, with condoms,
times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's still difficult.
Mm-hmm. So that was a first for me to have an experience like that. It was not great, and I decided pretty much that I felt like I didn't really need to do that again. But that wasn't the plan. So you just kind of deal with it and move on. I know he was not happy about it, and and embarrassed.
Yeah.
So it was challenging, and I was still relatively new. I mean, I knew stuff like that happened, and I knew things like that happened, and had no problem with it. But it's still, it rocks you when that happens, especially if we've been talking for months. We went out to dinner. There was clearly a connection, and really wanted it to happen, but it was just odd. So
yeah, what
are you gonna do?
And you're right, it does happen, and it happens quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. And sometimes things don't work.
Sometimes things don't work.
Yep. Yeah. So, yep. I know. And we've talked about it many times.
And it continues. It's like you never know. You just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that was a very short story about that particular play date. But I think what's interesting about that one, or what's important to understand, is that not everything, no matter how much you set it up and how much you think it's going to be amazing, because we met and had a meet and greet, and he met you, and it was all great, and it was going to be wonderful, and it was no problem, and there was chemistry and excitement and electricity. And fucking hell, it just didn't work. And and part of that is my decision to continue to stay with condoms. Mm-hmm. That's my choice. So I stayed with it, and I stick to my guns, and you got to take the hit if that's what you want to do. So that's what I want to do.
Yep.
So that's what happens. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that story. Sorry, very lackluster.
Yeah, that was kind of a soft landing there.
What do you want me to say? And then it came on my mouth, and it was like this gush of cum. And I could barely even swallow fast enough. That good? See?
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to respond to that.
You wanted a better story.
I was just proud of my soft landing, which was a completely unplanned pun.
His beige, ginormous dick came at me like, what? I'll do better next time. I'll cover it better.
Yeah, I didn't outline that.
Oh, you can't.
And I know he wasn't there.
Exactly. So there you go. So once I cleared it all out of my eyes, and
like envisioning like windshield wipers on your glasses.
I wasn't wearing glasses because I don't wear glasses unless I have to fucking read, because I'm old now, and that's what happens. But I don't have to use them to see.
You're seasoned, dear.
Shut up. I don't have to wear them to suck dick. Let's put it this way. If I have to put my glasses on to suck
your way around the dick. Yeah. You can feel your way around that. You can braille your way through that.
Mostly.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Let's move along.
I'm sure I'm going to. Oh, I'm not done sucking dick yet, by the way, people. Stay tuned. If you're going to think like, yeah, they're full of shit, the last story makes up for the first story and the second story. So
yeah, you do need to stick around for the last story.
The last story. This is when it's all going to get good.
We have 2 fail stories and then 1 amazing story.
The second story is not a fail. It's just
it was a lackluster story.
So let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
You go. It's your story.
Well, this was
Tristan's story.
Mm-hmm. So this goes
5-way.
The potential 5-way. This goes back to the guy that we talked about in, I believe, episode 17, who we described then as a party in a box, which is,
but he still is.
We saw him about 6 weeks ago, and he still is 2 months ago.
3
Still is a party in a box. And so this is a guy that just people gravitate to him. He's an amazing guy. But he has this orbit of people that are lifestyle people, vanilla people. You just never can tell. And so
they're all together.
Yeah.
Like even the vanilla people that join him when he's the type that will send out a group text to 30 people, and 20 of the 30 will show up.
Yeah.
And 10 are vanilla and 10 are lifestyle, and they all know, and it's totally fine. And everybody it's amazing. He's a neat guy.
Yeah, he's just that kind of person that everybody wants to be around. He's a super, super cool guy. So we were invited to meet him and a bunch of people at the Palm Pavilion in Clearwater Beach. Mm-hmm. And it was right around sunset. It was beautiful. And, all these, we all went out, watched sunset. We're drinking, we're eating. And one of the couples that was there was a lifestyle couple. Mm-hmm. And I really, really hit it off with this woman, the woman in the couple. And so much so that we peeled off, and I just talked to her the entire night. And
they are a lovely couple.
Yeah. Super fun.
So fun and nice to talk to.
Yeah. And I really liked her, and I just hit it off with her. And so by the end of the night, we're openly making out, and it's, whatever non-lifestyle people in this group there were, they kind of figured.
he's party in a box boy.
Right.
They know, like half of us are going to be making out. I'm halfway making out with him and he's halfway making out with somebody else. I'm kissing you and
Yeah, it's
trying with the other gentleman. And
that's right. I remember.
I did. Yeah.
He was on the fence.
I don't think it was he that was on the fence, my love.
That's right. That's girl he was with. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. The husband of this particular couple that you're talking about?
Oh no. I was talking about another guy.
Oh no, I thought you meant
no. There was that other guy that you were making out with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh yeah.
Well, whatever. It was pretty fluid. In other words,
I forgot about him. Yeah, because nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, the husband of the woman that I was really into, there was nothing.
Well, we tried.
You did try,
We
but
tried. Yeah. We talked a lot because you two were connecting. You may not even know this. We literally did. We talked a lot because we said, "Wow, they're really hitting it off," and I enjoyed chatting with him, and he enjoyed chatting with me, and then we kissed quite a few times, and then we chatted. There was just no electricity at all. We tried. We really, really tried, and we even said, "This will be great." Like, let's hope this like is awesome. And we were both like, "Yeah, not so much." It was just like nothing when we kissed.
Yeah. And for me, that's the big thing. I mean, when you kiss somebody, it's either there or it's not.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't say no, but it was just like, okay. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're more connection people.
Right.
I think than others. And so for me, having that some kind of a spark, some kind of energy, something is important. Other folks, either way, whatever your dynamic is, it may or may not matter. And sometimes that doesn't even matter too, because I'll be honest, I'll fuck somebody if there's a total physical attraction and there's nothing else, that still works. I also will fuck somebody if there's no physical attraction, but an intellectual attraction, because that still works too.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, in this case, yeah.
But you two hit it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we arranged for that couple and us and Party in a Box to meet at another bar a couple nights later, just the five of us. And the thought was, all right, we'll hang out at the bar a little bit and then we'll go back to their hotel room and have a 5-way.
Right.
And
hubby and I were gonna try it again. Yes.
And our Party in a Box friend was going to be there too.
Yes.
And so it was just going to be a lot of fun.
3 and 2 ladies. That was the idea.
That would have been a lot of fun.
That would have been.
It would have been. But you kind of pulled up stakes and said, you know what? I'm just not feeling this. And we both always respect each other's opinions, and if one of us is not into a situation, then we say, you know what, we'll pull the plug. But in this case, you said no, you are really into her, so I'll just hang back with Party in a Box. Then you and this couple go back to their hotel room and have a 3-way. And I said,
yeah, we were at the bar at the hotel, by the way.
It wasn't, actually, no, because he drove my car and his wife and I were in the back seat making out. So we drove to their hotel. The bar remember that bar on the water?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, he
and then we went to the hotel that they were in had the other bar.
And then maybe you guys wound up there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we finished up.
Yeah, we waited for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
anyways,
yeah, we hadn't really talked about this in 4 years.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no audio for this. So this is all recollection.
Right.
And we didn't talk before.
It's okay.
We were going to talk beforehand, but
it's important. I think it's good to relive it. I mean, it's totally fine. It was, talk about it in the experience that it was at that point in time. So what happened was the 5 of us all went. We thought you and I knew that we could have a 5-way if we wanted it. I don't think we said it to them that way, but it was pretty obvious because it was you, them, and us, them, and Party in a Box.
Yeah.
So it was pretty obvious, and Party in a Box was all in. He was ready. He was okay with all of that. So, but I don't know. It wasn't necessarily set up that way, and although it had been mentioned. But I'll own it. I mean, I'm okay with that. I kissed the couple, him, and I was not into her at all at this point in time. Don't forget, I was not into any women. And so, or hadn't found any that excited me as much ever. And so, yet. And so I tried to reconnect with the husband, and it was just, there was just no connection, and it's totally fine. He's a super neat guy. There was just no physical attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, I can't do this to Tristan in the middle of the bar when we were supposed to go off to the 5-way. But I didn't know until I started kissing him again, and there was definitely no electricity. I really wanted it to happen. Trust me. I really wanted it to happen. Like a lot. Like, yes. Because fucking you and fucking partying in a box and having a third guy there. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So it just, there was just nothing there. And I knew that anything that I did was not, I was just not going to be into it. So it was going to take away from the experience versus even trying to bullshit my way through it. There was just no way that I could bullshit my way through it.
Right. Yeah, completely understandable. And, and as mentioned, certainly at that point, if one of us wasn't in, then, we weren't going to proceed, but you were adamant and said, no, you're into her. So you go.
Yeah.
And you go, the three of you go play. And so at this point, I think that was I had been in multiple MFMs with you.
And you had a couple, you had dates, and you had been with Amber, your girlfriend, and
But I think that this may have been the very first time that I was a third in an MFM. So it was something that I didn't have any experience with. It was a surprise to me. It's certainly at that point not real good with going with the flow and surprises and shifting gears. I'm much better now, but at that time, 4.5 years ago, whenever that was, that kind of threw me for a loop. That here I was expecting this one thing, and then it's something completely different. So that was kind of a shock to my system. What I'm setting up here is it didn't go well, and so all of the reasons. In thinking about this, what all the reasons, there were so many things that were working against this going well, and inexperience as being a third, being kind of having this thrown at me. It was March or April of 2019. I think March. Everything was blooming. So my allergies were just awful. And I was on this cocktail of allergy medication, including Sudafed, from my
which is limp dick.
Which
that's Tristan's limp dick pill.
Not good. Not good for your erection.
For you, it may be okay for others, but it's your limp.
Oh gosh, what else? Oh, so many other things. Then once we actually got in there and got going, turns out they had this huge dominant and submissive power exchange dynamic, which just freaked me out.
We didn't know anything.
We had no clue, and so she was calling him sir, and I was so uncomfortable with that.
That was not something we knew. We had met the captain, but that was it. I mean, we were baby stepping into any kind of kink or dominant submissive thing. So that was so on the other end of the spectrum about anything. We were just learning about how to fall.
I know. And so he was holding her arms back behind her and fucking her from behind while holding her arms back, and then telling her to get down on that cock, and and so we were spit roasting her that way, and I was like, ooh, I'm not so sure I like this, and I really didn't. And
how would you like that now?
I still not so much.
Really?
Yeah, I not so much. It's just not my thing, and so and then certainly, and if it was you, I'd be pissed. There's no way I would.
Well, first of all, I would turn around and cold cock anybody who said that to me. I'd be like, "Fuck you! You get down here on this cock."
That's right.
Fuck. And so, unless
it was negotiated and I knew it was coming, and that was part of the scene that we had negotiated.
Right. Or unless I'm super turned on, I'd be like, oh. If I do that, then that means okay. If I turn around and cold cock them and say, "You get down on the dick, you fucking prick," then that means it's. This is safe word 101.
Yeah,
if I choke and keep going, then it's okay.
I'm just gonna say, dear, I still don't like you choking on dick. I seen it, heard it plenty. I still don't like it.
Baby, you didn't have to trust trust myself. I don't know, whatever.
But
that's you. That's your thing. No. That's a whole
I own that.
Another topic for another episode.
It is. I own that.
Yeah. Your discomfort level with something I like.
Yeah, well, it's my discomfort with you being submissive with other men. Because you're not, I mean,
I'm not being submissive. They may think I'm being submissive, but I'm in complete control.
All right.
Always.
All right.
Yeah. But I love that you think that. That means I'm doing a really great job.
Wow, touche.
Yeah, I mean, totally legit. Are you kidding me? I will have to tell you, I will promise you, there is no way on God's green earth that I will ever do anything that I don't want to try, do, or
that I do know.
Yeah. So there you go. So remind yourself of that when you go.
Good point.
For those of you watching on YouTube, we're at, I don't even know, an hour, 50 minutes into this. And so you want to see my face doing that. If you ever have the, if I ever have the pleasure, we'll put it this way, if I ever have the pleasure of doing that with you and you hear, be honored. But it's not, I don't like that shit. This is just pretend. Like, it sounds so much different.
And I do know that it is an act for you because you don't choke on anything. You have no gag reflex. So
that is not true. There are a couple spots where that is not true. It's not that it doesn't make me, it is a natural reflex I didn't know that I actually had. Don't tell anybody. Because I always prided myself on not having a gag reflex.
Well, you know what, dear? People in 130 countries are hearing this right now.
That's all right. The ones that if you ever meet me and we end up playing, just pretend like you don't know and be incredibly surprised. But I don't have a gag reflex, except for there are a few spots that it's just natural. Like it literally, like I always thought that was a control thing. But because I'm a control girl, so I'm like, you can't make me joke. But it happens every once in a while. But anyways, so back to our story. Because this is gonna come up again in the next story. That's the only reason I'm mentioning it now.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second to recover here.
Okay. So however, you were having a three-way.
Yeah, no, I was yeah, I got to recover here. So I was having a very mediocre three-way, and so we switched off, and I fucked her from behind. I did not pin her arm back. I let her have full free reign.
That's because you didn't know any differently at that point.
Yes, I know. Yeah, but so I did her from behind. And then so wound up that I was on my back, and she just kind of blew me to finish me off, and it really was just to finish me off so we could be done, because
back to the bar.
We were not having, I mean, it was palpably not good, and we all knew it. So which was a shame, because it does happen, and it would have been so different had it been just the two of us, just me and her.
Yeah.
And who knows whether that was her dynamic. We didn't even explore that, because
I don't
there was no place,
right?
No, there wasn't, that was not the place. I mean, there wasn't that wouldn't have been appropriate to even ask that, to my mind. And so
because we were planning on,
so you can't go from a 5-way to a 3-way to just a 2-way, and then have a really awkward moment for you and him and Party in the Box sitting around at the bar, because then he'd be all like,
no, Party in the Box and I were like making out at the bar.
Oh no, I'm saying for the hubby to be there too, and like that would have been really awkward. Well, I'm off fucking his wife,
and I'm making out with Party in the Box.
Yeah, and so
Party Box and I had a good time.
So it just kind of didn't go well, but there, for a variety of reasons, and so I was struggling physically, with my allergy medications, and then just with the really awkwardness of this DS dynamic that they had, and so whatever it was.
So what advice would you give to someone who is in that scenario, and I'm being serious, I'm not being shitty. It like that. So it you wanted to connect because you really liked her, and there was the possibility of having a great experience, and then their crazy dynamic threw you for a loop. Is there any advice to give for something like that, or just be prepared that people's dynamic might be different, and would there have been questions you could have asked? I don't think there is.
There really isn't. And as I'm thinking, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot you can do. I mean, because they're dynamic. Right. And then that situation was what it wound up being. And just, as alluded to a second ago, I wasn't in any position to say, oh, I want this or I want that. No, I was just along for the ride.
Right.
And
you were the manicorn.
Yeah, because I was we still don't know what that actually means, but
you were the single dude.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, exactly. So I'm the invited guest. I'm not in a position to say, well, this isn't going to work for me. That's not my place. My place is to be whatever they need or whatever they want out of an experience. I say this as being on the husband side of this in MFMs all the time. They're there for us.
Right.
We're not there for him. And so in that situation, they weren't there for me. I was there for them. Whatever they wanted out of the situation that was my role.
Right.
And we never talked about any of that because it just never came up. We got in the car. He said, you guys get in the back. We started making out. She went down on me a little in the back of the car. And that was all the conversation there was. Right. So maybe that could have come up in conversation beforehand. But again, I don't know, even to this day, I would have done anything differently.
Right.
And I have more experience now as the third, not a ton, but more.
Well, and that's kind of the point I'm getting at. Not that you would have done anything differently. Is there anything we can help any gentlemen listeners who may find themselves in this particular situation?
When it's that fluid, I don't know that there is. Now, when we talk to single guys, we usually do it, over drinks and dinner, and a lot of these things would come out because we're talking to us as a couple to a guy. And that's not how this went down. This went down as us as couples talking to another couple, and then Party in the Box going to join in also.
Who knew both couples by
exactly. So it wasn't as structured as your typical MFM would have been. Your typical MFM would have been talked about in advance.
Yeah, and the three of you would have planned it.
Yeah, we would have talked about it, and
you did an amazing job. And
and for somebody again who certainly at the time was not at all go with the flow and fluid, and I'm much better now, but still, I struggle with shifting gears.
And I think everybody does. And I think that's important to talk about. And that's why we're talking about it, is because that was challenging, and it is challenging. And I don't know if that's more challenging for men or for women.
I don't know that it's a gender thing. I think it's more of a personality thing. And for me and my personality, it's difficult to be flexible.
You don't like things to change in midstream.
I don't. Now,
I'm a go with the flow kind of girl. I'm like, okay, whatever, we'll change it, which is so weird. Like,
so next month it'll be 31 years for us.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Friday, March 13th, 1992.
Yeah.
So it'll be 31 years for us next month. Can you honestly say, though, that I'm much more flexible and malleable now at 54 than I was at 23?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And why? I think a lot of it has to do with this lifestyle. I think a lot of that growth has come in the last 5 years.
I think a lot of it came with having children.
Mature. Well, yeah, that too.
When you have to go, wait, we can't do this because someone just crapped in their pants and we're going to go take care of this. So it's like, after having kids, you have to learn how to be flexible. And this is not going to work this way because somebody forgot the passy. And now we have to. So I think that leads a lot into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, life, it does. Yeah.
You kind of handled most of those issues.
No, I mean, yes, but still. But I think in the recent years, yes, the most growth has happened definitely because of the lifestyle.
I think if you look at my growth trajectory, it's kind of been relatively flat for for 25 years, and then in the last 5 years, it's
you have to count the marriage piece, and that goes up, and you have to count the parenthood piece, and you have to count the incredibly highly stressful professional piece.
No, that's true also.
So that goes up because that you don't get to count on that all the time. So you've made lots of great strides, babe. So let's anyways get back to the stories about
more of them now.
Well, I think it's important though to be able to the whole point of talking about this is the fact that shit is going to happen in the middle of the fucking shit that you think is going to happen, and it may change.
Yeah, we've many times we've talked about expectations and how it's dangerous to have expectations. I mean,
but this certainly was set up as this, and it totally did not go down. And I pulled the plug, and I wasn't gonna. You and I talked about this on 2 or 3 months ago. There was something I was in the works, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it, and that's not for me. It's gonna end up being like if I was actually trying to set up a little MFM, and I didn't click with the guy, and Tristan was like, "Wait, what happened with that guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it would have been me taking one for the team for you, and I love you, but that's not what this is about."
Right.
And I think in a year from now, you would have been like, "Yeah, I don't know why you did that." I think today you'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go do it now. I don't care. Suck it up, buttercup. But I think that, that's reality. And, but that's the dynamic that we have set for each other, which is we respect that. And my goal at that moment, that's when the thing shifted, was that we stopped. I said, I can't do this. You go. I'm totally fine with you going. And that was something that was different for us because I was totally fine with you going. A party in a box was there with me. I wasn't alone. I felt totally fine. You go do your thing, which I had zero interest in doing. I'm going to hang out with the person that I was interested in doing. And it was okay on my end. So I wasn't, and I appreciated the fact that you let me, that you never said to me, why did you pull the plug on that? You always were like, gee, I wish it wouldn't happen that way, but I totally get it because there wasn't a connection with us, and we were trying to make it happen. We knew it before we went, and so that's the other piece too that I learned is that I probably shouldn't have said yes, let's try it. I probably should have said I don't think it's going to happen. I'll try, but had we mentally been prepared for the fact that it wasn't going to happen,
we could. But we
didn't. I didn't want to jinx anything. I didn't want to put myself in that mental place to say, this isn't going to happen, but I knew it. And so that's my bad. Have we learned anything from that?
Do we ever learn anything?
No,
anything that we've ever done that we do suck.
We tried.
Yeah. Well, what we're good at is telling people about how we fuck things up and let them draw their own conclusions and let them make their own lessons out of it.
Figure out how to fix it.
Learn anything from it or not? Who knows?
One of these days.
History shows that we don't.
One of these days, babe. We're gonna figure it out. So let's
every day.
Let's talk about the next piece then.
End on a high note.
Yeah. Let's end on a high note.
And a thick note.
Yeah. So after that, and if you guys ever have questions about anything like that, please feel free to ask us. Not to cut it off and be weird, but that's really kind of how it was. So the bottom line, go with the flow. You never know what's going to happen. And the more you're prepared for that, the better. And I really felt like it was going to be okay because I was telling him to go ahead and play. And because their dynamic was off, and you weren't feeling 100% to begin with. So it just kind of screwed things up. But anyways, okay, that was the moral of the story of that. So let's talk about my last encounter for this particular episode. So do you guys remember Louis? You remember Louis?
I remember him.
He was in what episode, honey?
27. He was in 2 episodes.
2 episodes so far. Yeah. So we met Louis and we had an amazing meet and greet and then play date. And then we had a second amazing MFM and play date with Louis. So Louis and I have been chatting, and at one point in time, he asked me if I was available during the day. And I said, yes, I was. And so he and I concocted a little afternoon play date, but I didn't tell Tristan. So, but that was a calculated move. I didn't not tell Tristan because I was doing something cheaty or down low or anything like that. Do you want to share with our listeners what you always had told me one of your fantasies was?
Actually, I think I've already said this at
Probably,
one or two
we're going to
times
remind
on
them.
the podcast, but to remind everybody, one of my fantasies had always been to come home and find that my lovely wife had been naughty during the day, and then have her tell me about it.
Yes. And so I didn't tell Tristan that I was going out with Louis. And Louis and I actually had a whole afternoon date set up. And I went over to his house and we met, and we had an amazing amount of afternoon sex. It was great. It was so great. So if you guys remember, Louis is called Louis because he is a very well endowed man. And Louis is short for Louisville Slugger. He's a very well endowed man. And the couple of times that we had been with him, by the time he and I got to the bed, he was rock hard, and he is very large. And I could never fully give him a blowjob because he was already hard when we got together, and I could never get him in my mouth. And so I wanted to attack him before he was fully hard so that I could have him in my mouth and have that experience. So that was, I'm sure, the primary motivator as to why we set up this particular play date. Louis and I did. So we had an amazing time, and I went over and met him, and we had a few. Actually, I think it was just one afternoon little cocktail, and then I had a big afternoon cocktail. And I met my goal, in case y'all were wondering. It was tough, and we had to move fast. Because once we hit the bedroom door, the threshold, the clock started, and I had to basically throw him down on bed, rip his pants off, and get his dick in my mouth as fast as I could. And I did, and he got hard, and then I could hardly keep him in my mouth. And so, but that was super hot and super exciting. And then we had a massive amount of sex, and I tend to squirt with him, which is just bizarre because he's so big. There's like no way for me to come, but he knows how to handle his dick. And so he pulls out at the right moment and makes me squirt everywhere. So we promptly soaked all his bed sheets, and then we went to lunch because that's what people do. So we went to a late lunch, and it was great. We had a great time. And then we went back to his house for a second, a round two, so to speak. So by this time, we're getting to coming home time, and Tristan was at work. And so you texted me and said, I'm on my way home. Oh, Tristan has a screenshot of this set of texts. Oh, Tristan has it all set up on his phone already. So Tristan texted me at 5:09. He says, on my way. And I texted him.
On my way, what?
On my way. And
with
he
a
said,
kissy emoji and the little heart emojis, because I'm an emoji kind of guy.
So I'm gonna we can't really show it. No, I can't. I know, but so I'm gonna show. We're literally looking at the text with a partial picture there. So so Tristan texts me and says, on my way, with his kissy face and his heart emoji, and I texted back, I'm not home. ... And then I sent him a picture that Louis had taken for us of me sucking Louis's dick. Now, what was important at this, I forgot about
the. Well, and what you can also see are your beautiful breasts.
Yeah, my tits are hanging down. Yeah, so I'm sucking his dick
very nicely. It's a great. That's a really hot picture.
It's a good picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, what had happened? I forgot to preface the story on our second date at Louis' house. I had lost an earring and I didn't even know it. And a couple days later, I was like, "Oh, dang, I don't have an earring." Like, or maybe even that night, who knows? I don't have an earring, whatever. And a couple days later, he had texted me and said, "Hey, is this yours?" And I said, "Yes, this is my earring." So yay. So I had told Tristan, "Oh, Louis found my earring." Great. That was it in passing. It was like, yay, whatever. So when Tristan texted and said, "I'm on my way home," and I said, "I'm not home," and I sent him a picture of me sucking Louis' dick, I said, "I'm picking up my earring." And your response was,
so, and actually my screenshot doesn't capture this, but my response was it under his balls? Because
it looks like I'm looking under his balls while his dick is in my mouth. This big old Louisville Slugger dick is in my mouth. Like, see, that was choking. I'm sure
that was legit. Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It happens. It happens. It does happen. Yeah. So yeah, my earring was under his balls. Look, how was I supposed to know? I had to go look for it. It was a good earring, which I ended up losing 3 years later. Besides the story, that's a whole other story. But yeah. So I said I probably didn't even answer. Did I answer?
I don't remember.
I probably did not even answer. I just like, yeah, suck it up, buttercup. So I continued to fuck Louis. And we had an amazing second round hot play date. And I was spent. That man, I still wish I played with him, was such a great fuck. We had an amazing time. But there was a lot of connection there, and we were good chemically and physically. And, it was a lot of fun. So, but that was the very first time. And I was terrified. I was terrified to do this. By the way, I want you guys to know this. I was so worried and so anxious that Tristan was going to be so offended and mad. And all I kept thinking was, he's told me many, many times that this would be okay. And I'm a hot wife and I can do whatever I want. But my goal is never to hurt the person that I love. So I just wasn't sure, was this really going to hurt him, or was this really what he wanted? And there's no way to find out until you try it. And he had been with us. I mean, we had been with Louis twice before that. So I felt like it was a pretty good person to try this out with. And the situation was right. Everything was right. It was, it happened naturally. It wasn't really thought out. It probably happened within the day or the day before. So there wasn't much thought to it, but it was really fucking hot. And it was really, I have to tell you, my heart was racing and jumping out of my chest when I knew you were close to texting me that you were coming home. And I never said anything. Like, we'd been together for 3 hours before that, and I never said a word. And I was just so anxious about you texting and that you were coming home. And then I was going to tell you that I'm not there. I'm busy fucking somebody else. So how was that for you?
Well, and so what you just said is very important, which is you don't know how it's going to feel until it actually happens. And so same for me. And, I had told you that for years.
Years.
That would, like, even way before the lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. This is when we were just like pretending to be, fantasies and shit. A couple other fantasies you have. We can talk about those too. But yeah, that was always one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but then once we were in the lifestyle and we realized that we love the MFM dynamic, and you love being with single men, I love you being with single men, and whether I'm there or not, this wasn't the first time that you were alone. In fact, there have been several instances where you were alone with playmates, but this is the first time that that I didn't know. And I had told you over and over that this was a fantasy of mine. And so So in the same way that you didn't know how it was going to go for you, I didn't know how it was going to go for me. And so as I was driving,
you had no warning because I didn't tell you because I was
exactly, exactly. And so as I'm driving home, it's a real dual-edged sword, and it's there were a lot of mixed emotions. And on the one hand, I was incredibly aroused and excited, but on the other hand, my FOMO kicked in big time because I had been in the other two times we had amazing MFMs, and so I'm like, oh shit, I wish I was there. So it was more because I was missing out on something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at the end of the day, as I'm weighing, these scales of FOMO versus, wow, this is really hot, this is really hot one. And so it was really exciting. And so I got home first and I waited, and you weren't that far behind. And
no, but that was definitely by design. Babe.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
And when you got home, we went in the bedroom and we lay on the bed together, and you told me all about it and all the details. So then I went down on you, and you came right away, and then you came again, and then I fucked you, and you came, and then we came together.
Yeah.
And it was hot. And then again later that night we talked about it some more, and we had more great sex, and it was really hot.
Yeah,
that
was hot. It was I don't know that we could have planned something better,
and had we planned it, it wouldn't have been as impactful.
Right.
Yeah
And the way it worked out was really perfect because it was with somebody that you knew.
Yeah, that I knew and I trusted.
You could even visualize that. That was even the best.
I'd been in this house twice, and so I could see
you knew
right.
You knew the bed we were in. You knew where I was looking for the earring.
Besides under his balls.
Under his dick. But yeah, so I knew you could visualize all of that. And so much different than being in the hot wife dynamic so much different when I was in Virginia, which I had explained everything to you, but this was something you could put yourself there in that scenario, yet you weren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really hot.
Yeah.
And Louis was happy to oblige, by the way.
And to this day, I mean, this is one of the hottest and encounters that we have had. And I say we, even though I wasn't there, I was part of it.
Right.
And you made me part of it. And which is, that's part of how we come together.
Right.
Is by you telling me, when you're with somebody separately, I become a part of it when you tell me about it, and then we reconnect. I
love that piece because I love the autonomy to do what I want, be what I want, whenever I want. And you've always been like, yeah, absolutely, go do, conquer, whatever. And you've always been so supportive. And we've always had the agreement, and you've always said, just tell me. But part of that fun is being able to come home and tell you. Part of our connection, part of a way of us having a moment within that experience is coming and sharing that with you. But I think that is because you love hearing it. You love knowing every detail. I'll walk in the door and Tristan's like, okay, what was the first thing? Nope, don't tell me about having sex yet. What was the very first thing you did? I'm like, well, he took my hand. He's like, oh yeah, then what happened? I'm like, well, we walked to the sofa. Oh, then what happened on the sofa? And he wants to know did he touch your shirt? Did he slip his hand anywhere? He wants to know every detail. And so sometimes I have to try and remember every detail. And I'm not great at that because y'all know, as soon as I start having sex, my mind turns off. But so I try my best. But I think that's a great way for us because I love sharing those details with you because you are just as excited about hearing those details almost as much as being there. I mean, I know you love being there, and that's a dynamic that we enjoy. But I know that you also enjoy that other piece if you can't be, and if I choose to be with somebody else.
Yeah.
Which has happened even recently. when we were out of town a couple of weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
last month, and I was able to meet up with one of my friends, and I was able to tell you all those details. And it was like, nope, don't start in the middle. Start at the beginning. What happened when you walked in the door? He wants to know. I'm like, I don't know.
That's not an exaggeration. That's not an exaggeration.
It is not. You love to know every little bit. And so that's my way of saying thank you, is trying to remember all those details because you love them.
What's interesting, and we've talked about this many times, but the ratchet doesn't turn the other direction.
For me, it does not.
And so one of those nights that we're talking about, I was with one of my friends.
Yes.
And so we were in the same hotel, playing in separate rooms. Yeah. And you didn't want to hear one bit of my experience. I had an amazing experience that you didn't want to know anything about.
Nope. Oops. I said, did you have a nice time?
Yeah, and I said, yes.
And I said, that is great. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's what I need to know. I don't need to know anymore. I want to know that you had a good time, that you were happy. And that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry if it doesn't.
I need the details.
I know you do. And I don't mind sharing the details. I'm sorry if you would like to share the details with me and I don't want to hear them. And eventually, let's be honest, and in a year or so, I might say to you, hey, whatever happened with that? Mm-hmm. I might not.
You won't.
I've asked before. I have asked before. And it's all right. Whatever it is. It's not my bag.
Yeah.
This is not unusual.
I've never, but you know what? As you say that, I've never really thought about that. I would love to talk to you about that, about all the details. I know that you're not interested because I don't have anybody to talk to about the details.
Sorry. And, I don't want to hear it.
I know. And neither does Crimson. And so
nope. I'm not sure that maybe not all women. I mean, there are women who enjoy that. Or I would say I'm going to guess that most don't, but I could be wrong.
I think you're probably right.
I could be wrong. Yeah. I just want to know that you're happy. You had a good time. I said, go forth and be with her, this particular person. I was the one that said, go. Yes, find her. Go be. Yes, go do. Did you have a good time?
Had a fucking awesome time.
There you go. So I'm happy. I also had a great time.
I know.
That's a whole nother podcast. That'll be like episode 80.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time from now.
I don't think we're recorded about that anymore.
We did not record about that. We've gotten really bad about that. We need to pick it back up.
We haven't had a lot of things to record about. So anyway, let's wrap this up. So does anybody want to know anything else? No questions? Okay. Well, apparently there's no questions about my interaction.
Nobody's raised their hand.
No one's raised their hand or shouting yes, yay. But I will say that that was our first time doing something like that. It
was a risk.
It was a huge risk. I was terrified. I was horrified, and I was so nervous that it was going to be not okay with you. Yeah. Even though you had told me 1,000 times, it doesn't matter. And I don't think that people sometimes understand that.
Because as I said, I mean, I couldn't know that I really wanted that. And it's 50-50. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of guys would say, oh, absolutely. But then when it actually happens, in my case, it turned out well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But, and I think, again, very happy that the way that it happened was with someone that you knew, someone you were already comfortable with, and someone where you could totally visualize exactly where I was, exactly what was happening. Even as you're driving home, knowing I'm not home yet, we're still fucking, you knew what that looked like. You know where the mirror is in his room. You know what the bedspread looks like. You know where the bathroom is. You know where the chair is to sit in his room. So, visualizing yourself there. I think that has led, that particular instance really helped bridge my comfort with continuing to move forward with my hot wife activities, which, sometimes included telling you, sometimes it didn't. There was another playmate, we're going to start to talk about him soon, where sometimes I would tell you or not that we would meet. And so I think it was a good way that it happened, because it bridged a lot of things for that made it safety. Yeah, made it safe. And he's such an amazing guy. Yeah. So it worked out really, really well. I miss him. Oh well, just didn't continue to pan out. And I think that I saw him one or two more times. I don't even know that it's going to really come up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we
just kind of petered out.
It did. Louis and I, we met, I want to say 2 more times. You never joined us, right?
Right.
Yeah. We had planned on it, but something happened and he couldn't meet on the night that we had planned. And then things just kind of petered out after that. And that's totally fine. That
happens. Yeah,
it does happen. And I will also tell you, so as a woman in the lifestyle who then starts to play as a hot wife. So there I was with a gentleman, and this has happened probably quite a few times, that I'm playing with somebody who's also active in the lifestyle, and they meet someone else, and they may meet someone who's available, like who's not married, who they want to start a relationship with in the lifestyle. And I can't offer that. And so that's okay. That is a-okay. I cannot think of anybody in the lifestyle that I've played with that we don't have a relationship anymore that I'm negative about. I really can't think of any, because
that's not how we're wired anyway. So,
but because it's all just like this, you have been an amazing moment in my life, and with him, I wish there were more moments, because we did connect. It wasn't just physical. It was so not just physical. We had an amazing emotional connection, and I think that was part of it too. I'm not available. I'm never going to be available. So if you're okay with that dynamic, then that's fine. If you're not, and you think you want something more, I can't offer that. So, and he couldn't offer anything more than whatever we had, and it just was. But that, I think that has happened a couple of times where not from me, but from where the guys have met somebody else, and it's like, yeah, more power to you. Go forth. Actually, another person we're going to talk about, that same thing happened. Mm-hmm. We had a great dynamic with him, and he met for him an amazing woman we never got the chance to meet, and he dropped off the radar, and that's totally fine, because that's what you want for someone that you care about. Would you not want them to have a great connection?
Right.
It's not about me. I'm never going to be able to spend any quality time. I'm a blip. So I don't take any of that personally. And I'm happy if he, hopefully, I hope that he found someone amazing that can share his life with him, because he's an amazing guy. So Louis, if you're out there, I hope you found somebody amazing, because you are an amazing guy. And if our paths ever cross again, like literally like walking through town, that'd be awesome. If they don't, that's cool too. But yeah, that was really, really hot. And it was an amazing experience. And that was a first for us. And it led to and has helped shape our dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really kind of it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
This went way longer than we were anticipating.
It's okay. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Or they'll just listen.
Yeah.
On the podcast. On the video is a lot longer than the actual audio. So whatever. But yeah, it's really, really hot. So we will be back with more stories in episode 43. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
What's our closing stuff?
Are we going to talk about, and this can be edited, but are we going to talk about going to Caliente?
It can't be edited because we're on video.
The video won't be edited. I understand that. For that Thursday night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we are, yes. So we're going to start doing the third Thursday of every month right now is slated for us to go to Caliente. It happens to be ladies' night. The third, every Thursday is ladies' night. We have been granted the opportunity to record from Caliente. And as part of one of the projects that we're getting ready to come up with, a second kind of podcast project where we will be interviewing people and talking to them about their stories, and talking to other folks within the lifestyle, and maybe bringing in some people that we meet, some professionals, some who knows what. I've just got a long list of amazing people to talk to about alternative love and lifestyles. So that is something that we're planning on doing. And one of the opportunities that have come to us is to be able to record live once a month from Caliente. So we're going to start that next month is really kind of a soft launch.
Yeah,
we're going to record. It will not be live. I don't know when we're actually going to go live, April or May. But yeah, so we're going to start recording the third Thursday of every month. Mm-hmm. We will be at Caliente for Ladies Night, and we'll be recording. Most likely, if you're there, reach out. If you're going to go, reach out to us, because we'll start putting the word out pretty soon about if folks are going and you're planning a weekend at Caliente, and if you happen to be there on Thursday night, on that third Thursday, when we're there, we will want to talk to you. If you want to share your story, what I would love to do is get like little 5 or 10 minute snippets from folks, and or depending on what your story is, actually sitting down and chatting with you and talking to you and interviewing you for all intents and purposes, but to have on our show, and because people love to hear people's stories.
Yeah.
And so what a great opportunity for us to be able to meet an amazing amount of people at a place where folks are coming in from all over the world, and be able to hear their stories and share them with you all.
Yeah. Yeah. And this coming March 16th, which is when we're going to be there, is the 5-year anniversary of our first play date that didn't go well.
It is literally 5 years
to the
night.
Yep.
March 16th.
So we thought that would be an excellent time to start this soft launch of this new project.
Right. Yeah. Our first play date, which was the ultimate failed experiment. So I would say if any listener has an ultimate failed first experience, DM me on Instagram, or email me at Myrina@accidentalswingers.com, Myrina, Myrina. And because we might want you to record something for us to talk about your first, if your first experience was an accidental hookup, or it went horribly wrong. I don't know, either one. Let me know. And we're going to give you a phone number to call and be able to record a quick story for us. And so maybe we'll play that. I don't know how this is all going to work yet, because we're figuring it out as we go. Making it up. We're just figuring it out. I know what it is. I'm not making it up. I'm just figuring it out.
We're making up the details as we go.
Exactly. The logistics as we go. So yeah. So please to reach out to us. Let me know if you have a story that you want to share in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be taking those recordings, and we'll start putting that on social media. But absolutely. So, and then of course, anytime otherwise that you need to find us, you can find us on Instagram or on Twitter, or email me or Tristan, and or on our website, accidentalswingers.com. And that's, I think, about it.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else that's important. Well, it's all important, but
to us,
yeah. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed it. It was an amazing time for us. It was a neat way to be able to share these experiences with you all through this, to be able to explain to you and hopefully maybe help you in your journeys as well. And ladies, if the guy says that he wants you to go have that experience, then trust it. Right.
There
you go. Okay, that's it for us, right?
I think so.
Okay, well then, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.